Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. On the screen here you see a build for Tanaka, level 12. It was created by Nemesis Corrupt, and he is using it on the premium Tier 7 Japanese destroyer, Yudachi. And that's the game I have for you today. A community replay sent in by Nemesis in the Yudachi. Now, I'm not going to call this video a review on the Yudachi. I don't feel right trying to review a ship that I don't have, and of course I don't have the ship because I am not a community contributor, and Wargaming doesn't loan me out the new premiums. Although, hopefully, someday they will. Anyway, Nemesis sent this video in to me. I think he wanted my opinion on how he played in this game, and I am willing to give it to him. I'll say right off the bat that I don't think he played a bad game at all. He played a pretty good game. His team, on the other hand, that's mostly what I have an issue with, and I'll point that out when it becomes apparent. Now, if you've seen any reviews on this ship, you'll know that it comes with a 5th mod slot, although I'm not sure you even call it a mod slot. It's a slot that allows you to put on an alternative set of torpedoes for this ship. And that alternative set of torpedoes are really, at least in my opinion, what makes this ship special. And luckily for us, Nemesis Corrupt is using the alternate torpedoes in that 5th mod slot. Now these torpedoes are ridiculous. They go at a speed of 80 knots, making them the fastest torpedoes so far introduced to the game. They do a maximum of 22,115 damage with the appropriate Tanaka build, which again is outrageous. If you get hit by even one of these torpedoes in a battleship, it is going to cause you major problems. If you get hit by one in a destroyer, you are almost certainly dead. And if you get hit with one in a cruiser, well, you might not die, but you're probably not going to be participating in the game for a long time after taking a hit like that. So these torpedoes, incredibly hard-hitting, incredibly fast. The only real downsides are that they only go out to a range of 7.5 kilometers, which is pretty short for Tier 7 destroyer standards, or by Tier 7 destroyer standards. And they have a sea detectability range of 1.7 kilometers, making them the most unstealthy or most visible torpedoes in the game. You will see them coming from a mile away, especially if you have any skills that increase your ability to detect torpedoes further out. Nevertheless, even if you do see them, they are so fast that you're probably going to have a difficult time avoiding them, and Nemesis is going to demonstrate that for us coming up soon. For now, he's still engaged in a stalemate with this Akatsuki. Both of them are sort of keeping the other one spotted. Looks like the friendlies in Bravo were shooting at that Akatsuki, and he's on his way back to port here. It's not going to take too much longer. In fact, he has left the Alpha Cap and conceded it. So Nemesis is securing it for his team. And right now, his team's positioning on the map here is starting to become a concern. Nemesis is about to secure the Alpha Cap. One enemy Akatsuki goes down to match the single destroyer that the friendly team has lost. Nemesis is firing at this Fletcher, and another friendly destroyer goes down right in front of him, leaving him the final destroyer left alive on his team. Obviously, firing at a Fletcher is probably not a winning proposition in this ship. The HE shells do hit pretty hard. They do a maximum of 2,150 damage, which is pretty high for a Tier 7 destroyer with 127mm guns. But they reload in 7.5 seconds, so you simply can't match the rate of fire with a Fletcher. Now, Nemesis has deployed a smoke screen. I think possibly that was unnecessary. It was only the Fletcher spotting him, and, you know, when you stop firing your guns, eventually your detectability goes down. And, of course, I would venture to guess that this Yudachi is a lot stealthier than the Fletcher. Maybe not a lot, but with the build that I described to you, or I showed you at the beginning of this video, and Concealment Mod 3 in the third slot, this ship has a sea detectability range 5 kilometers. So it is pretty stealthy. Terrifyingly enough, if you have a very high-level bay and a high-level Swirsky, you can get this ship to be even stealthier. I've encountered some that I spotted at a range of, I think, 4.7 kilometers or so, which should be terrifying to any battleship captains that are looking forward to seeing these destroyers in battle. If you haven't seen any already, I've seen a fair amount. Seems to be a pretty popular ship. Anyway, Nemesis does get the killing blow on the second enemy Akatsuki, and that gives him his first kill of the game. There's a single enemy destroyer left. We're not quite sure where it is, but now the problems with the friendly team's positioning are readily apparent. They are all clustered into one section of the map, say the just left of center. And the enemy team is basically in a position where they're almost surrounding the friendlies here. The enemy has also managed to secure 3 capture points to the friendly team's 1. I believe the 2 deceased friendly destroyers were trying to capture Bravo, but they failed, and Nemesis here is the only one who has actually secured a cap for his team, which is great. That is the destroyer's #1 priority, at least in my opinion, to secure capture points. And that is what is going to help your team win in domination mode games like this. You can see the enemy is now almost 200 points ahead of Nemesis's team here. There's the final remaining enemy destroyer. It's the Fletcher out there. He's shooting at the Jean Bart, and Nemesis here is sailing. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. In my opinion, he should be going for the Bravo cap. That probably would draw the Fletcher in, and that's where all his friendly ships are, so he would have support if he did that. I think there's no reason for him to sail here trying to spot the Fletcher. The Fletcher is going to keep spotted by the Jean Bart, who he's firing at. But Nemesis does have different ideas than I do. He's going to launch torpedoes in a widespread at this Fletcher, which is probably not something I would advise, since the widespread torpedoes leave huge gaps that enemy destroyers can easily slip through. But unfortunately for this Fletcher, these are incredibly quick torpedoes. He does manage to catch one. It takes him out very easily, and just like that, there are no destroyers left on the enemy team. So, not a bad move to make since it worked out, although I would be careful with the widespread torpedoes. I think a lot of the time it's not going to work out. But, you know, since the Fletcher is dead, that does give Nemesis the opportunity to go for the Bravo cap. Unfortunately, there are some enemy ships around, and the enemy does have 700 points, so things are looking dire. We need to start sinking ships really quickly here, or start capturing capture points. Looks like one of the enemy Amagis is about to go down. Nemesis lines up for a torp strike on the enemy Tirpitz, hits the reload booster, and still targeting the Tirpitz, it looks like, sending more torpedoes out there. Maybe he actually launched that first salvo at the Amagi. I think he did. And just like that, those torpedoes have reached the Amagi. Only one needs to hit him, and one is all it takes to finish him off. So yeah, that first salvo, I apologize, was aimed at the Amagi. Second salvo aimed at the Tirpitz, who, I don't know, you'd think maybe would want to be maneuvering instead of sailing in a straight line. But sailing in a straight line is what he chooses to do, and it only takes 4 torpedoes to send him to the bottom of the sea. Now you'll notice that Nemesis is sitting on 4 kills. The Kraken Unleashed is up for grabs, and Nemesis is actually going to have to secure that medal if he has any hope of winning this game. The capture points have been held by the enemy for far too long. Points lead is insurmountable. They are tied up on ships, thanks to Nemesis taking out the Amagi and the Tirpitz, but he's gonna have to take out the Iowa, or he's gonna have to take out both Iowas if he wants to win this game. So he launches one set of torpedoes at the first Iowa, and then sends the second set at the Iowa more toward the right. Now the first Iowa, he's on a little bit more than 3/4 health, so it's not going to take more than 2 torpedoes to finish him off. There he goes, Kraken Unleashed, and it looks like the final Iowa is going to avoid the torpedoes. But by use of the guns, Nemesis here lights a fire on that Iowa, and then another. But looks like the Iowa puts out both fires, takes out the final friendly ship, and that just leaves one Yudachi versus one very low health Iowa. Nemesis here is sitting on a Kraken Unleashed medal, and he has an opportunity to get a 6th kill. And unfortunately, that 6th kill is exactly what he needs to get to win this game. And that's what I mean by I didn't expect this game to go the way it did. A lot of time spent in the first few moments of the game dealing with a stalemate that Akatsuki created by being in the Alpha Cap at the same time as Nemesis. And now he's got 5 kills, and he's on track to get a 6th. This Iowa is running away. He knows he has the lead, but he's just not going to be fast enough to outrun a destroyer. And take a look at the torpedo indicator there. It was up for a split second. These torpedoes, again, go at 80 knots, which is more than double the Iowa's speed. So even though he is sailing away, it is very possible that this set of torpedoes will be able to hit him. That is something that I don't think you can achieve in most cases with most other destroyers. But you can with the Yudachi's incredibly quick torpedoes. Nemesis takes out the Iowa, wins the game for his team. Great effort on his part. I don't know that I can offer much to correct, other than the little bit of nitpicking I did. 3,700 base XP is excellent. Fantastic game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not done that already. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.